Alright, so this combo is going to depend on having like 3 cards. I guess you don't necessarily have to have this. You just need a name, another name. It would just help to have this to build that board that we were talking about. You would have to have it, of course. But activate, we're going to add unicorn. And if we have birth or theosis, so it doesn't really matter. So we'd special the unicorn, add the birth. Birth, activate birth, normal summon Fenrir, effect of Fenrir. We're going to add a rise hard. Okay. At this particular point right here, we would have the theosis in hand. Whichever one we had to add, we would have it. So we would, I'm sorry. We can't do that yet. All right. So now at this point, we have to make IP. This plays into nib pretty dang hard. So this is going to link off. We've added our names at this point. So we have birth. We are going, and we have theosis. So birth, we're going to get back the Fenrir. We are going to special this, and we are going to theosis this. So we would go ahead, theosis, add ourselves another Fenrir, make another Fenrir. Like I said, this definitely plays in a nib. But there's really no good Kashtira combo that doesn't. There's no like elite combo. You have to risk it for the biscuit. So here's what we have here. And in our opponent's turn, we would go ahead and bring out, sometimes I go ahead and do another Fenrir, but it doesn't really matter. We'll just do another unicorn for this purpose, just for whatever reason. That way we have multiple points of interaction. So let's take a look at what we have here. So it's our opponent's turn. We just left the standby phase. Here's what we have on board. Our opponent goes, activates. Let's say they summon Snake Eye Ash. This is assuming that we probably have 2 hand traps, so we hand trap them there. So we'll just say that's one interaction. Hand trap the Snake Eye Ash, we impermanent. Okay, so now they're kind of like, well, what do I do? That didn't go through. They activate Bonfire. Okay, Bonfire goes through. They add the Poplar, bring that out. Effect, on summon, we will go ahead and banish the Ash, in this case, with this. And we'll rip, I'd probably lick their Link Karibo at that point. That way they can't get that off the field, their Poplar off the field easily. Lock 2 zones, Planet Pop, so they're forced to use the Ash in the Poplar. We've locked 2 zones, Planet Pop. At this point they have a Bonfire and in the graveyard, and that's it. So at this point they're probably going to try to bring out another Snake Eye Ash or an Oak. It just depends. It doesn't really matter at this point. So we've used all of our interactions that we can with this. So you have an option here. At this point, you're kind of out of resources, so you know what their next play is going to be. Their next play is going to be to go into an Oak and still try to go the Flamebird route. Well, guess what? We don't want that. So you have an option here. You can go into a 3 material Appaloosa, 2400 attack, and actually it's going to be gaining 1, 2, 3, so it'd have like 2700 attack. There's not much in their deck that can out that. On the flip side to this, we still have the Shang up. Now we have a 3 negate Appaloosa. You can also go into a 4 negate Appaloosa if you had to, but I would still leave this up just so that you have the Birth Banish. You got 2 zones locked. Typically they're extenders, whatever, they use wanted, blah, blah, blah. Then you banish 3 in their graveyard, and you just put them in a very precarious situation. So even if somehow they manage to get the Flamberge out, which it just doesn't seem possible at this point, keep in mind with IP, They're not just going to be able to. It can't be destroyed by card effects, so they're not just going to be able to like Kieran pop this or go into Unicorn pop it. Plus, I mean, you have the negate, so it's like there's just nothing they can really do. But anyway, I thought this was a really unique combo, and it's one that's not just entirely that hard to get up to. You can technically get to it just about any. I think there's one other way to get to it, but you would never really want to go into it unless you had this ideal board. Like, it's one of those situations where like you have the game locked up. Like, there's no if, ands, or buts about it. The game's locked up. So, yeah, it's just it's GG's, but it definitely plays in a nib, and that sucks. So now if you had like Gamma in hand, oh yeah, I would go for this every time. But regardless, guys, I think this is a fun little combo, and it's one that people aren't really expecting out of Kashtira. It doesn't seem like, and Kashtira doesn't do it the best. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it does, but every deck right now is susceptible to nib, and you just have to make the decision like, hey, I'm gonna play my best game, and just, you know, I mean, if they got it, they got it. And of course, that play gets messed up when you go uninterrupted. But if you put that up against somebody that you know is not playing hand traps, that might as well just GG right then. Like, that's it. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one. See you on the next one.